Trust your heart, don't close it, because it's not gonna make anything better. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Vanessa, and I want to talk to you about something today that I've been gradually throughout my life been contemplating and reassessing, and it has to do with keeping your heart open. And if you're a sensitive person who often felt growing up or even now like keeping your heart open feels really painful, come into this video. Let's chat about it, because I have some revelations, personal ones and professional ones, that I really want to share with you, because I feel like this is so important to talk about. And I also want to hear in the comments how you feel about that. So let's go. There's so many feelings in my body right now, because this world is so polarizing, and there is love and there's pain and there are so many things happening. But we are here on earth to experience exactly those polarities and see if we can find a way to stay in love and continually come back to love, come back to acting from love rather than from fear, pain, and hate. Okay, so I feel like as a child, I was always naive and always heart open. I never had a bad intention. I never had like this feeling that I wanted to, achieve something for myself. But rather, I was always like with these big open eyes, smiling in everybody's faces, talking a lot as a child, singing, dancing. And I feel like the more I grew up, the more uncomfortable these qualities of mine felt, and I started hearing a lot, "Oh, Vanessa, you're so cute, but you're so naive," and all these kind of things. And now looking back, I actually feel that I was just really in my heart, and that I was just seeing people for their essence, even though they didn't act in the way that they were playing out their essence, like I saw always the potential in people, the best in people. And obviously growing up and then throughout my 20s, that sometimes like ended up hurting me a lot, right? Because I believed in someone, and then they turned out acting differently than I expected them to, or I trusted them more than I should have. And so I had to learn my lessons, that I can have an open heart, although it's painful. And at the same time, I can draw my boundaries with people that I feel like not safe with, or that may disappoint me based on that behavior patterns that they have, like other people in the past. Now, I don't want to judge generally, but sometimes when you see red flags or experience things that make you feel not respected, not important, not loved by other people, and you have your values in place, then it's also okay to say, hey, no, or have just no expectations at those people, because you're not sure how they're gonna treat you, and then you can still decide to say no, or have no expectations and just be surprised by positive actions, But my point here is really that from that time in my life, from that little girl that had this open, big heart and wanted to help everybody and believed in everybody and whatever, at some point I also started feeling like I needed to close my heart, and like the world is not safe, based on growing up, like one of my parents was very angry all the time, so that created a lot of insecurity and unsafety and distrust within me. And I started like often closing my heart up. And then you go out in the world and you experience disappointments in relationships and friendships, in jobs or whatever. And you just create like filters that you see the world through, because you're still young. Ouch. Because you're still young and you are here to experience all all the different colors of the rainbow, all the different, like the whole spectrum of emotions. And looking back, like when you're in the thick of it, when you're in a disappointment, when you're in a heartbreak, it can feel unbearable. It can feel so hard, right? And you feel like, I never want to open my heart again. I never want to trust anybody again. People are only going to betray me. But if you focus on the pain, that's what you're going to keep on experiencing. And I'm not saying to bypass the pain, but I'm saying to take time to feel the pain, feel what is actually happening within you. Yeah, and feel what hurts. What is the wound that is either poked, that is touched by somebody, provoked or triggered by somebody that already existed, that wound, or a wound that is being created in that situation. What is the underlying need that has not been met, that now feels earth-shattering to you, that feels painful to you? Yeah, because if we look at the underlying need that wasn't met, for example, I had recently somebody comment on a video, oh yeah, and then it just starts going in cycles again with betrayal and all these things. Yes, because it can happen, and that's terrible, I know. But here are learnings that we can pick up. When these things happen, we need to understand what is the underlying need that hasn't been met by the person or the people that I surrounded myself with. Yeah? And if you don't even know that need yourself, and maybe it's never been met, maybe it's not been met by your parents or whatever, and then the wound is even deeper. But if you don't know, if you cannot communicate to yourself and to others what your underlying need is, it's going to be very hard to meet it yourself and to look for people, not like searching, but I mean to sort of attract people in your life that genuinely and easily can meet those needs. Yeah, because if we have a wound there anyway, we will attract people in our life that confront us with this wound. Yeah, that will be a mirroring back to us the wound. So when I hear people say, oh, I will always be betrayed and love doesn't make sense, or love is, like I will never be able to trust people and so on. I understand that there's this pain, and you've probably suffered a lot of pain, and I get that because I've been through pain as well, through really heavy pain to softer pain, through all the colors of pain. And what I can tell you is that I'm sitting here with an open heart. So if it's possible for me, why shouldn't it be possible for you? But it's about taking the focus away from staying in the pain and feeling into, okay, but what is this pain actually about? What is the need that hasn't been met within me? Is it the need for safety, for being seen, for being heard, for being acknowledged, for being held, for whatever it is? There's so many needs that it could be, for connection, So the safest thing you can do is actually understand, what are my needs? And then when you get in connection with people, do I feel like they are meeting my needs or they are disrespecting them? And then what you learn over time, and this is when your naivety becomes actually so evolved, because you're not just like the little girl or the little boy, or whatever gender you subscribe to or don't subscribe to. You're just this little kid, and you're so naive and open-hearted because you never experienced all these facets of pain that we can experience in life. But then going through life, I mean, it's also logical that we need to experience something that is not just positive. But we're so identified with these experiences because they cause us pain, and we think that we're not supposed to experience pain. That's what we think, and that's why we avoid pain. But if we increase our capacity to experience pain, and I'm not saying stay in the pain, I'm not saying, be like identified with the pain, or, I know pain is hard, But feel it through. Don't just stay in it, because that's suffering. If you're staying in the pain without actually feeling it, then that is suffering. But if you sit yourself down here on the ground, if you sit yourself down and you say, I'm going to feel this freaking pain of betrayal right now, or this freaking pain of loneliness or rejection or whatever. If you let yourself feel it, remember this feeling, remember the situation. Where do you feel that pain in your body? Is it in your throat, in your belly, in your chest? Where is it? And then you sit yourself down on the floor, on the couch, on the bed, wherever you want. And you take a moment, put on that song that helps you feel. Put on that song that gets you emotional, that helps you get out that anger, that sadness, whatever it is. And then if you hear the sound in the background, sorry, this is my quinoa cooking, so apologies. So feel that. Take time to feel your pain. And some pain needs more time than other pain, right? So you may have to take a break in between, come back to it, especially if we're grieving loss or betrayal and heartbreak, yeah? Then it may take more time to feel through that pain. But don't give up, because when you put in the work to feel through the pain, you expand your capacity for pain. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but life is not just supposed to be, butterflies and sunshine. Pain is part of it. And again, that doesn't mean you should stay and dribble and dribble in the pain. It's not about that, but you got to feel it through, because the degree to which you are capable to feel through pain, that's also going to be the degree you're going to allow happiness into your life. And I also want to say, it doesn't matter that it doesn't mean that you need to feel pain in order to be happy. That's not what I'm saying. But if you've gone through hard stuff and you accumulated so many held emotions in your system, and you can understand that you have a lot of held emotions when you're afraid to open your heart, when your posture is always like forward and closed, or if you don't want to talk to people, if you're afraid, if you have anxiety, depression, if you feel like there's no hope, if you feel like life has no sense anymore, then just take this as a sign that you have a lot of held emotions in your body, a lot of unresolved topics that you get to open up to, because in those topics, in this pain, there's also, through feeling through what you're holding in your body, you also create so much joy in your life, because you're going to have realizations like, oh my God, oh wow, all I need is to listen to myself, or I'm so worthy, or, there's these realizations that come out on the other side of feeling a feeling where you realize, oh wow, I actually deserve a good relationship, or to be alive and to feel happy. And now I'm going to take action on it. But sometimes, not wanting to feel the pain paralyzes us into suffering. Suffering means basically you have all this pain, but you're not feeling it through. You're sticking in it and you become like sticky, like you're not able to move forward or move through it. It's just like sometimes a feeling of being caught in something like that. And I'm really sorry if you're going through that right now, but sit yourself down, feel through your feelings, ask somebody for help, And I think I tried so many times to close my heart again, or feel like, oh my God, oh, this is so painful. But you know what? It makes it's not smart. You know why it's not smart? Because you're going to have that pain anyway in your system. That what you don't want to feel doesn't mean it goes away when you decide to ignore it or suppress it or push it away. It's still in your system. So it may mean that you're tired all the time, you got gut issues, it's going to come out in other ways. You're going to be passive aggressive, and you're going to have from time to time explosions, because there are so many held things. But when you decide to live through an open heart, keep your heart open, then you also don't need to react from an ego when somebody pushes your buttons or when somebody rejects you. Then you can actually see, okay, that person rejects me. I can feel the pain. It hurts, oof, it hurts. And I still know that, rejection is redirection. It's okay. I'm still worthy. But you can only learn that you're worthy and deserving of love and all the good stuff that you wish for yourself when you feel through your feelings, when you understand getting to the underlying need that was not met in the relationship with yourself, in the relationship with your parents, in the relationship with your schoolmates, teachers, colleagues, bosses, partners. Yeah? You gotta understand your need and keep your heart open, because there are people who are capable of meeting your needs. Yeah? And if you're in a really hard situation right now, ask for help. You deserve it. Absolutely. Even if you don't feel like you do. Right? Like, this is another important thing about learning to open your heart. Sometimes we need to trust in something that we cannot even see yet, that is in the unknown. But what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? So I just recommend you, bit by bit, you don't need to keep your heart open to people that are gonna hurt you again. Yeah, and here is this is the transition from the naive child of I believe in everybody and I give 10,000 chances, that then becomes the naive teenager or, person in the early 20s, young adult, that keeps on giving chances. Maybe you're in your 50s and you still feel like, I'm giving so many chances because I have such a big heart. Yes, you do have a big heart, and it's okay to draw boundaries. It's okay to understand, sit yourself down. What are my values? What are my core needs? And is this person meeting them? Can I communicate with them so that they could potentially decide to meet them? Because communication is an important thing, right? And it helps us. And even if somebody messes up, we mess up, everybody messes up, nobody's perfect. If somebody messes up, you can still understand, oh wait, what is my underlying need? What is really painful here? What is triggered right now? What wound is triggered right now? Okay, so I'm gonna go communicate to them, look, that really hurt me, and it's even hard for me to share that with you. But it's important because it's part of my core needs, and I wish that you could do this and that so that we can stay together. Yeah. Look into your needs, into your values. And this is how we learn to become the mature adult that knows their needs, that is capable of saying yes and no whenever it feels right for them, not out of fear of rejection or fear of not being loved anymore and disconnected and whatever. Yeah, so learning that love is universal and everybody deserves love, and having a big open heart is amazing. But you also get to draw your boundaries and understand what is for me and what isn't. And I know it's very hard when you first start doing that, to allow yourself to say no. It's so hard, because you're like, oh my God, what if I never meet a person like this again? What if I never get the opportunity to do this work, this job again? What if? When these things come up, they are valid, very valid doubts. But feel inside, does this feel like a contraction? Does this feel like, I'm gonna suffer more when I stay in this or take that job or whatever it is for you? Does it feel not good when you would actually say yes to that? Would you need to close your heart in order to, like keep on going to that job every day or be with that person? Or would it actually feel expansive? Would it feel opening? Would it feel safe? Yeah? Would it be safe to open your heart? And there are people that make us feel nervous because it may feel unfamiliar that somebody feels safe and that we can open our heart, no matter if it's romantic or work or family or whatever. Sometimes we're just not familiar with the feeling of safety, and then it feels like, oh, and then we can still communicate, what do we need? Or, wow, this is really hard for me to open up to you because I've got hurt so many times, and all I need from you, this is my core need, what I need from you is really honesty. I really need you to be honest. And when you feel that this person is like, oh, sure, yeah, I mean, honesty is so important to me too. You already get the sense, like, trust your intuition. Is that true or not? And then you will see the actions that follow the words. And this is how you can decide you're not anymore at the mercy. You're not the child anymore. You know better. You've had experiences in your life. You can now decide and trust your gut. That person said this one thing, but then they acted the other way. So let's talk about it. Or let's say no, or whatever. Right? Like, you can get into charge. It doesn't mean you need to close your heart. You can just get into charge of your life. That's really what I wanted to say today, right? You don't need to close your heart. You just gotta get in charge. You gotta wake up to your own power of saying yes, no, this is what I need, this is what I like. I can communicate openly and clearly. And any feelings of fear, doubt that come in between, I sit myself down on the floor and I feel them. But I don't need to close my heart. Okay? Share with me below. If you don't know what to say I'm brave to open my heart. I would love to hear from you. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe, and I see you in the next one. Sending you all the love.